Hello guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK stack tutorial. I wasn't supposed to create another video, at least not about something like this, but somehow I found it funny, and I thought that maybe you want to get some more information about the last child property which we're talking in last video, and the property which I'm talking about belongs to GtkStack and it is about child property. You saw that those child properties, basically you apply them with help of GTK container child set on one of those two stack switcher and stack sidebar widgets, and you saw what happens when you work with that property. Which means that the property itself explains that sets a flag specifying whether the child requires to use requires the user attention. So basically, if something's happened, you will be notified with this property. So I got something interesting which I want to show you. So at this point we have let me compile it and run it. We have only those 5 buttons, 5 tabs for the sidebar, nothing special. And now I want to show you something, but before I go there I need to introduce you a new function. I'm not sure if I talked already about it, because I do have some videos which I didn't upload them yet. So anyway, the function which I'm talking about, it is found in GObject itself, where you get a GObject set and so on functions. And once that you scroll down here where GObject set is, down here, you see here there are 2 functions, the GObject set data and GObject set get data. The get data means gets a name field from the object table as associated C, whatever. Okay, so what's the story with this one? Each object carries around a table of association from strings to pointers. So this function lets you set an association. If the object already has an association with the name, the old association will be destroyed. So internally the K is converted to a quark using gquark from string, which is also very interesting. We are going to talk in the future about those stories as well. So this means a copy of a K is kept permanently, whatever. I don't know. I gotta be how can I say, honestly, I don't like this description, and I remember myself when I was first time used this function after I noticed about it and I came here to see its description. There was only a black hole for me. So I don't know if you understand for sure, if you really understand what the story with GObject set data is based on its description, because it's a little bit complicated, but it is quite easy to see it when you work with it. And then the way how we'll try to explain you, it is the way how you maybe understand it. So now let me tell you something. For example, let's say G signal connect. Now we are going to catch the signal on the bottom 5. Why, you'll see in a second, then you will understand it better. So, and of course will be the clicked signal, G callback clicked signal, and of course we are going to pass the stack as well. Now I want to tell you something. When you going to check the clicked signal, you want to catch it on your button, like in this case the button 5, and then you call the clicked signal, or better say clicked callback function, then you pass the stack object as well as its user data. Well, the story here is after you create the function and you have it, and it happens that you need to work with some other data as well, there are some things which you need to take care. Do you really can pass one more than one object with a GCNR connect. Theoretically, everybody said no. 90% I'm telling you they are wrong. Of course you can. You can pass as many as you want to. But the question is not if, the question is how. And for this, this is what we are going to use today. There are many ways to work with it. Instead of showing you or explaining too much theory, I'm going to show you at work. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this function just after we create a signal. It's not important where, but me, I do it right here. And of course we need the G object. It is very important. You need to cast. You need really to cast to G object, your object. And then we pass the stack. And we say now to this stack I need an identifier for some data. Maybe you still don't understand, but you will see in a second. So let me say entry. And then you need to pass an entry widget. You now connect, basically you set, or you be better that you understand it, you connect, you make a connection between the entry and the stack, so that when you talk about a stack and when you use it in some function, you can get information which is connected with this stack, which you didn't had it before just by passing a stack object like this, like in this case. So what I'm trying to say is that once that you set the data, which means you make a connection between entry and the stack by giving it a name, with a G object get data, you can get this object and work with it. I don't know if I'm the best explainer right now, but you will see it in the work and you understand it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out this one right here. I'm going to create something crazy today for you guys, and also this one as well, which means I'm going to do something now. GTK widget, because we need an entry and GTK entry new. Once that we have it, I'm going to create a grid as well. So GTK widget grid, GTK grid new. Of course the grid we already have it, so I'm going to use a GTK grid S or something like this, whatever. Now watch, GTK container add, GTK container. Here we have our grid, the newly grid created, and the entry itself. Okay, now I want to show you something. Before we even call these two functions right now, I want to compile it and run it, but we need to set a title as well, which is also very important for us. Without it, it will be complicated. So what we need an entry here, which we just created. We need to give it a name, which will be also an entry, and we need to give it also a title, which will be also an entry. Now I'm going to compile it and run it. Okay, what we did now, instead of button 1, we are putting a grid with an entry inside it. Nothing special. I just want that you understand, because the things which I'm going to show you today are quite yes, I forgot the parenthesis. Now watch, at this point the first button, or the first tab, okay, we have a problem, and the problem is, why do we have this problem? Let me see. We put the entry inside the grid S, which is true, and now because we have it, we add it to the stack, which is wrong, of course, because I need to put a grid here. Sorry guys, the grid, we need the grid and the entry as well. Okay, so here will be also the grid SS, I'm going to say, just to, and of course the grid, whatever, one grid is enough, and here the SS. Okay, yes, I tried to put the entry inside the stack and also inside the container, which was wrong. So Now watch, I'm going to compile it and run it. At this point, you see the first tab right here, it is our grid, and we have an entry inside. And of course the others buttons as well. So I want to be sure that you understand what I did here, because the next thing is very important for you to understand what's the importance of this GObjectSetData function is. Now we said on button 5 we are going to catch the clicked signal, and we are going to call this clicked whoa, strange name, clicked callback, and we are passing the stack. So let us first create this function, because we need this function. Okay, void clicked callback, and then of course we have our GTK button, our button, and of course our GTKStack, and of course stack. Now let's define it as well. And of course the first thing which we are doing, we are going to check return if fail. Return if fail. GTK is button, it is the first one, and of course the next one will be return if fail. GTK is stack. This is very important for us to make these checks, to be sure that we are not playing with something wrong here. Now watch, at this point what I'm trying to reach with this callback function, it is that with the help of this function, let me compile it and run it. Stack, yes, of course, because I use capital letters. With the help of this function, I'm going back. I'm going to do the following. Once that I'm going to the computer tab, and I'm going to click this button, I will get the attention here from the property NeedsAttention, which will be marked, and inside this grid we are going to hide and show this entry. Remember, this entry belongs to the grid, which is inside of our grid. So basically we can check inside the stack. There are many ways how you can search about information which you need to find out, like for example, if you search for a container and then you try to find its children, you start to work with GTK container list children function, find where you want to find its children, get children, sorry, GTK container get children, and then you use in the while if statement where you can there are a lot of ways, but I'm going to work a little different today. So the first thing first which I'm going to do, I'm going to call the GTKStack get child by name, because we need it. It is very important. So let me go back to our GTKStack. So the thing which we need the GTKStack get child by name. This one. Why? Because this one returns the widget which has this name, and this is what we need at this point. So I'm going to say GTK widget, and then grid, because I need a grid, and of course to be sure that I get it, I pass the stack, and of course I pass the grid. Whoa, stack, and of course the second one will be a string where I pass the grid, because this is the name which I want to get it. Once that I find this name inside the stack, then I can work with it. Now I have the grid. Because I have the grid, I need its child. So how can I do it? I already explained you. You can go inside the container and use a function like GTK container get children, to where you can iterate through the linked list to find out the child and so on. But there is a faster way in this case, and the faster way, it is this one, which we were using here. I said GTK set data entry. So we were putting the entry inside the stack and we are connecting them and gave it a name, a key name. So basically this is the key which finds our entry for us. Watch, I'm going to declare again GTK so I'm going to declare again a widget. Just this is very important. GTK widget entry, and I'm going to say this time G object get data. First we were setting it, and now we need to get it. What do we need to pass? Only those two things which we were passing here in the data. We don't need entry because entry is already inside. We need entry as well, only for set data. So watch, I'm going to copy this one and pass it here. At this point we have the K and the stack. So what we are doing now, we are saying by calling this function, search a widget which has a K called entry inside the stack. If you find it, return it to me and let me use it. Something like this if you want to understand what exactly we do here. Even it's a little bit different, but at the point when you really understand it, it won't matter, trust me. So if now, yes, of course we need a flag, static g boolean flag, we are pointed to false, of course. And then now, because we have it, let me, I hate when it happens on this laptop, these things, if flag is equal to false, which is true because we did these things, isn't it? We are going to say now, watch, GTK hide widget, sorry, GTK widget hide. We are hiding which widget? The entry widget. And then we are going to mark it as well with a GTK container child set property. So GTK container, and the container, of course, at this point we know it is the stack. The child, it is now the grid. This is very important for you to understand now, because we need to work with the work with the container which holds the widget. This is very important. Watch, you will see in a second. So GTK the grid, and now we need a property. Let me go back to the property and see what happens. Where's the property? Property, child property needs attention, right here. I'm going to copy it and use it. Okay, needs attention, and of course we are going to set it to true and then null to inform the function that we are done with it. Once that we are done with it, we are going to set the flag it's equal to true, and now I'm going to copy these things right here, and I'm going to say else. We are going to call again the GTK, this time the GTK widget show, to show the entry again, and then we are setting the needs attention to false this time, and of course the flag we are going to set it to false. Now let us see what happens when we compile and run this program the way it is created right now. So as you can see, we have the grid, we have the webcam, headset, headphone, computer. The grid has its entry inside it. Once that we go to computer now, watch what happens when we click the computer button. GTK controller said GTK widget failed. Yes. Why? What did I did wrong? GTK widget, even if it's quite crazy, GTK widget GTK container child set values as such, and GTK widget is failed. What did I did wrong here? So let's see. We have the grid and we have the entry. Now we have the flag, and we are saying that it should hide it. Body GTK container child set on the stack. Needs attention. Its child needs attention, which is the grid. That's quite strange. So let me see what exactly happened. GTK if GTK is grid. Let me check exactly where the problem is. Grid. True. Yeah, I'm going to use print tag, whatever, because I need to check something. If GTK is entry, whatever, gprint, also true. I want to see what happens with these two things before we go all the way down to that part. So I need to see two time true, just to be sure that is working before I debug it. I have only one true grid. So one of these ones it failed, and I think I know already. Yes, the grid, the grid, and I think yes, it's of course it failed. So now we have the grid and the entry, as you see, and the grid it failed. We have no grid. Why is that? GTKStack get child by name, and we should get the grid. Now let us go back and see what's the story. Yes, you see, here failed. My bad, guys. I had to debug it a little bit to find out where the problem is, because we have a grid SS. We have no grid. That's the reason why it didn't work. So we need to pass the right name. If you pass a wrong name, it won't work. Now watch. Yeah, it's working. You see, true. Now watch. Let me go back. I'm going to clean now this story right here. Sorry, guys. I messed a little bit the things here, but I just fixed it. So I wasn't sure. Let me pass the grid again right here where we need it. Now, what we did so far, we have our grid, which we got it from the GTKStack get child name by name, and we have also the entry. The entry we got it this time with the help of GTK object get data. Once that we have them both, we create a Boolean flag, and with the help of the flag we are saying if the flag is false, we are hiding the entry, and we are setting its attention to true, and then we set the flag to true, so that next time when we click the button it will fall down from here directly to the else, and it will show it again our entry, and it will set the needs attention back to false. Watch. Watch. Everything works fine. We have our entry. I go to computer. Once that I click the button, you will see that the grid gets the attention point, a notification. You see, it is right there. Now, once that I click the grid, we have no entry anymore. It's gone. So if I go back now to the computer and I click the button again, you see the attention is gone and our entry is back with the same information which we had it, because we didn't destroy it. We only hide it and show it back. Now guys, I hope you understand what we did today here. I'm just go take a short brief again. Basically, we created, instead of the button one, we created a grid. We put an entry inside it, and once that we have it, then we were adding the title of the grid with the grid SS name. And very important for you to really you really use the right names, because I was using grid, which was wrong. You saw for yourself. And then once that we create those titles, we were attaching it to the stack, to the sidebar, and then later we were calling the clickback callback on the button click it signal once that it catch, where we're passing the stack. Because we tried to make some modification to another object other than the stack and the button, like in this case the entry, because we cannot pass the entry also here. We need to create a structure the way how almost everyone will tell you, which is not the right way, it's just a good way. I'm not saying that it's wrong. We are working with the help of the GObjectSetData. We are working with this function by connecting an object to another object. This is what you are doing here basically, so that you better understand. You connect two objects together so that one object gets information from the another object and then creates a connection with it. Try to understand it, even if it's not the best explanation. Try to understand something like, for example, when you are working in C with pointers, once is then when you pass as a value or with a pointer. If you pass a pointer, then you can from a function to get access on one variable which is found on another function. Something like this, it happens here also. So we are connecting the entry with the stack so that we have direct access to the entry. Remember, we are getting access to the same entry. It's not another entry. So that is very important to understand this. So now in the callback function inside, we are getting this information with the help of GObjectGetData. Basically, we are saying we are asking the stack to search inside it to find the data which has a key called entry. If you find it, give me the widget. Once that I have it, I can work with this widget. And of course, it's important for you to understand again, this widget is not just any widget, it is the same widget all the time. So for this to be 100% sure that you understand, just type something here, hello, and you'll see that once that you go to computer and basically you hide it, if you come back and you show it, it will be still your widget there. That's very important for you to understand. I know it was a long video, but I hope you like it. I hope you understand it, because it's very important for you to understand also these kind of steps, because there are so many ways which we are going to learn together that you cannot imagine. It's a very powerful library, the GTK. Thank you guys, and what can I say? Well, I'm going to surprise in the next videos. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.